Hey, what's up, Forum? It's Gorilla Hands, and I'm bringing you some TDM from Gears of War 3 Beta. It's on the map Thrashball, and in terms of the gameplay, it's really nothing impressive. I actually think I steal a couple people's kills, and I have a couple fails while I'm playing, but I just needed something as a backdrop for the topic I want to discuss today. And that's my updated impressions of the beta. It's been out for a week, so I thought I'd let you guys know what my opinions are after giving this game a little bit more time to play. I'm still having a lot of fun playing it, and I'm spending some time really trying to learn how to get good at it. So say for example, for at least for the experienced Gears of War players, I'm trying to learn stuff like right hand advantage. And for the guys that may not know what that is, you'll notice that the gun's on the right side of my body, and what you'll do is you'll move from cover from left to right, so your gun will show first, and you can shoot at the enemy while still having a good portion of your body under cover, so you can inflict a lot of damage without having to worry about receiving a lot of damage. And I do that later in the video, so you'll see kind of a situation where that happened. The other thing, when the game first came out, or when I did my first impressions video, I was complaining about the fact that on trenches the dust storm will roll in and a lot of people just get stationary, they won't move, they won't really, they'll just become real campy. But if you hold the LB button when that dust storm comes in, you can see about 10 yards further out, and you can see the outline of a lot of the map. So it makes it really easy to traverse the map and kind of flank around and sneak around. And you can use that with smoke as well. So that's a little tip that I learned that really helps. The other thing that I've been really concentrating on is learning how to blind fire with the Nasher. And right here, this is probably why I couldn't kill the guy. I probably should have held the left trigger to aim and shoot him, but I'm so stubborn. I want to practice using the blind fire. I want to learn, its range whenever you're using it. And the biggest thing is aiming with it. For the guys that have a lot of experience, I've been told that you're supposed to line up your right elbow. That helps you blind fire in those situations. But let me know if that's what you use or what you go about using to aim whenever you're blind firing. Because sometimes whenever I do that, I can string together a couple kills without any issues at all. And other situations, I'll whiff wildly and get blown away by a sawed-off shotgun. So let me know how you guys go about blind firing. But like I said, I've been playing it for about a week, and the only game mode that's been available for this week has been TDM. And I think when this video comes out, they're actually incorporating King of the Hill. I don't know if they're taking out TDM, but I know they're bringing in King of the Hill. And I'm going to be glad to see that in, just because I don't have any problems with TDM. I do like TDM. It's just King of the Hill, I think, will have a little faster pace than what I'm seeing in this game mode. Also, in my first impressions video, I talked about how because of the spawn limiter, whenever a team gets down to a couple spawns left or their respawns are depleted, they'll sit in their spawn point and camp it out. Especially on the map trenches, that was a big problem that I noticed when the game when the beta first launched. But since then, if you work with a group of guys that really know what they're doing, or even when I'm running with randoms or by myself, as long as one guy knows how to use a mortar strike, you can clear out that area fairly easily. So that isn't too much of an issue. In fact, the only map that I have trouble with in terms of clearing people out is this map, Thrashball. A lot of people will run up into the concession stands, they'll camp in that area, and I don't really know the best strategy of clearing them out once they get in there. You can use grenades, and I have used those semi-effectively. Actually, in this game, I clear out a lot of people in there. But if you don't have grenades, I don't know, what's the best way to take the guys out once they're dug in pretty deep? The other thing I noticed using this respawn limiter is if you have a couple of people on your team that do really bad, like say they go 1 in 10 or 0 in 8, that can really have a huge impact on your performance, because if you're doing really well and you die, you might not even be able to respawn all that much because you have other dudes on your team that are just taking up all the respawns. I don't know, I think I'd prefer to see a score limit instead of a score or a spawn limiter, but for the guys that have been playing TDM this week, let me know what you would like to see, if you like this model or if you'd like to see something a little different. And right here I fail at setting a trap. I'm trying to put a grenade on the ground, so if somebody comes in and tries to pick up the grenades, I'd hopefully get a kill, but failed at that. But one of the issues that seems to be coming up a lot, or at least it's a big topic of discussion, is the retro lancer and the sawed-off shotgun. And oh, get a nice little triple killer right there. And after playing it a little while, I can see why people have had issues with the sawed-off shotgun and the retro lancer. And okay, right here, I'm trying to stick the grenade to the wall so that the guy's chasing me, but for some reason it wouldn't stick. I don't know why. And in retrospect, I probably should have turned around and just threw the grenade at him and shot him, but I was panicking, and I didn't realize you could blow up the grenade while you're on the ground. I didn't know what that symbol was, so I could have helped my teammate and suicided, but I'm learning, so there's things I'm missing out on. But after playing it a little while, I can see why there are issues with the sawed-off and the Retro Lancer. I'm not very good at this game, obviously, and I actually equipped those two guns, and I'm going to put that video up later this week. And I did really well with it, with not a whole lot of effort. Like, as long as you can roll into the guy, you don't have to really aim at all whenever you're using the sawed-off shotgun. And the Retro Lancer is so powerful that I don't even have to be that accurate with it at medium range. I'll down people very quickly. But at the same time, and I have been, and I guess for me the weapon that's killed me the most is the sawed-off shotgun. But I was talking to Stabby. He played a lot of Gears of War, and I was telling him, it was frustrating because I'm trying to learn how to blind fire, and I'm just getting obliterated with these sawed-offs. And he was telling me I'm just probably getting way too close, because I was getting almost point blank with that thing to try to shoot people, and I'd whiff and get blown away. But I'm just getting too close, and whenever I made that adjustment and put a little bit of distance between them, I really rarely, or I still get killed by it, but not nearly as often as I did. So it was kind of a mistake on my part. But in the Retro Lancer, I haven't been killed by it too often, just because whenever it's a medium range weapon, and it's as long as you know you're being shot by it, there's normally some cover you can get behind. So mostly the weapon that I've been killed by most often is the sawed-off, but that's because I always get in close quarters combat, or I try to. The weapons I prefer to use are the ones in this game, the Gnasher and the Hammer Burst, and I really like the Hammer Burst. I know in the beginning I said I like the Retro Lancer, but the Hammer Burst can pick people off so quickly at any distance. I mean, if you have a fast trigger finger, even at close distances, I've downed people with no time at all. The only problem I've had with it is whenever I'm using it, I typically like to engage people at a distance, and I'll get a lot of downs, but I won't get a lot of kills because I'll down somebody far away, and he'll just be far enough away that he's either near a teammate or he's behind cover, so he'll be able to revive. Also, I haven't had a chance to use the Lancer much, not because I don't like that weapon, it's just I want to learn how to get good with the Hammer Burst. And right here is an example of the right-hand advantage I was talking about earlier, where I'm just coming out slightly and I'm presenting a much smaller target to the enemy than what he's presenting to me. He had no cover whatsoever, so it made for an easy kill. But in terms of issues that I've had with the beta, now that I know that whenever I was using the Gnasher, I was getting too close to the guy, I don't really have the biggest problem with the sawed-off as I once did. But the biggest issue that I've ran into was actually a bug, where the enemy team had the same character model as somebody on our team. So he would come in, and we wouldn't notice that he was the enemy until he started killing us. And I was recording when that happened, and Stabby's going to report that bug to Epic. So I mean, that's not really a true issue in terms of gameplay mechanics or balance. But I've been having a lot of fun playing the beta. The only frustrating experiences I've ever had are certain occasions when I'm playing by myself, just because this game seems to really reward good communication, teamwork, and strategy, and that's not something you're really going to accomplish much when you're alone. And it can get really bad if you're playing against a full squad, just because they can absolutely obliterate you. But for the guys watching this, I strongly recommend picking up the beta. It's $5 to pre-order the game, and if you don't like it, you can just transfer that pre-order to some other game. There's plenty of big-name titles coming out in November, so I definitely think you should give it a try. There's 3 more weeks left in the beta, and let me know what you guys think. It's been out for a week, so let me know what your overall impressions are after playing it for a little bit. And as always, take it easy.